Hi, good day. Welcome to CMS. Now we will continue talking about the quantity surveying in CMS. We'll go directly for the boundary wall. CMS will direct us for this page of the boundary wall, which is part of the cost breakdown, but now we'll concentrate only for how to insert the data required to calculate the quantity surveying of the boundary wall and how it will be reflected in the cost estimation later when we talk about the cost estimation. What we need to do now in CMS regarding the boundary walls is to insert the length of the boundary wall. CMS is considering the boundary wall now is a uniform boundary wall, have the same design and same height. If there is a changes between elevation and the other elevation, we will see now how this will be reflected and calculated here in CMS. But initially we will insert here the length of the boundary wall, the height of the boundary wall, the spaces between each columns and the other. This data is very important. According to this data, the CMS will calculate all the required structure and block work. According to this inserted data, CMS will calculate all the required concrete work as a structure and block work and the plaster and the other finishing. But as I told, CMS is considering the boundary wall as a uniform, and he will calculate all this as the boundary wall have the same shape in all sides. So according to this length and the height and spacing between the columns, especially the spaces between the columns, CMS will calculate the numbers of foundations and the length of the tie beam and the numbers of the columns and the coping beam length, and of course the quantity and the area of the block work, either it is solid block in the substructure or a normal hollow block there. Same way, CMS will calculate the plaster for the boundary wall from the both sides. As I said, this is the normal type of the boundary wall. In case the boundary wall have some other shapes or another design in the sizes, in this case you have to add the changes directly. If you have a changing in the structure, you have to add it here, either the number or the dimension of the foundation, tie beam and column and coping beam, whatever. If you have a changing in the block work, you have to add it here. If you have a changing in the plaster work, you have to add it here, insert any opening if you have. If you have a change in the paints or cladding, you have to add it here in this table. You will choose also the type of the paint according to boundary wall paint. You can choose also the type of the cladding according to your boundary wall cladding, and you will add here the gates costs. This all to calculate the quantities of the boundary wall. After this, you will see how CMS will use all these materials and all these quantities to make all the cost estimation and use this for all the project aspects.